Today we continue our journey through Joshua chapters 13 through 15. I will read key passages and I encourage you to read the full chapters on your own. The full reading reference is provided below. Now, by this point in Joshua, much of the land has been conquered. The major military campaigns are complete, but there is still work to be done. Joshua 13 begins with an important statement. Joshua is now old and advanced in years. In Joshua 13:1, the Lord tells him, "You are now very old, and there are still large areas of land to be taken over." Now, the point wasn't Joshua's age. The point was that God's work was not finished. There was still land to possess and promises to fulfill. This reminds us that although God had given Israel the land, they would still need to walk in obedience and possess what he had promised. God's promises require faith and action. In Joshua 13:2-7, the Lord identifies the remaining territories that still need to be conquered. 13:8-33, the eastern tribes receive a review of their inheritance east of the Jordan River. A special note is made regarding the tribe of Levi. Unlike the other tribes, they did not receive a large territory. The Lord himself was their inheritance. Their service to God was their unique calling among the people. Now, chapter 14 shifts our attention to one of the greatest examples of faith in Scripture, Caleb. Caleb was from the tribe of Judah. When 12 spies were sent into the promised land, decades earlier, Caleb did not follow the crowd. 10 spies saw giants and surrendered to fear. Caleb saw the same giants and trusted the Lord. He stood with Joshua when nearly everyone else chose unbelief. In Joshua 14:6-9, Caleb reminds Joshua of the promise God made through Moses 45 years earlier. Now, after decades of waiting, Caleb approaches Joshua. In Joshua 14:10-12, Caleb says, "Now then, just as the Lord promised, he has kept me alive 45 years. Caleb is now 85 years old. Yet he declares, I am still as strong today as the day Moses sent me out." Then Caleb asked for the hill country of Hebron. This is remarkable because the Anakites, the giants who once terrified Israel, still lived there. Most people would ask for easy territory, but Caleb asked for hardest. His confidence is not in himself. His confidence is in God. In Joshua 14:13-15, Joshua blesses Caleb and gives him Hebron as his inheritance. Caleb's life reminds us that faith does not retire. God honors those who continue trusting him throughout their lives. In chapter 15, it records the inheritance given to the tribe of Judah. This tribe is especially significant throughout Scripture. Long before this moment, Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, prophesied that the kingly dynasty would arise from his son Judah. That prophecy is found in Genesis 49. From Judah would come the kings of Israel. From Judah would come David. And ultimately from Judah would come Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, who came in the flesh. In Joshua 15:13-19, Caleb continues to demonstrate courage and faith. He drives out the descendants of Anak from the land God promised him. His family also plays a role in securing the territory. The chapter concludes with a detailed description of Judah's inheritance and cities. While these lists may seem difficult to read, they remind us that God was fulfilling specific promises made generations earlier. The land was no longer merely a promise. It was becoming a possession. Now, what do these chapters teach and show us? God always keeps his promises. Faith requires patience. God's promises must be possessed through obedience. Caleb demonstrates lifelong faithfulness. Faith does not always follow the crowd. Age does not limit God's ability to use his people. Courage trusts God rather than circumstances. The Lord himself is the greatest inheritance. Now, let's connect all of this across scripture. Let's do it, y'all. Caleb's faith stands in contrast to the unbelief of the wilderness generation. Hebron becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness across generation. The inheritance of Judah points forward to King David and ultimately to Jesus Christ. Jacob's prophecy concerning Judah's begins unfolding through Israel's history. The Levites remind us that relationship with God is more valuable than earthly possessions. Now, I am encouraging you to read Joshua chapters 13 through 15 in full. Watch how God distributes the land he promised. Watch how Caleb's faith remains strong after 45 years. Watch how God's promises move from expectation to fulfillment. And remember, what God promises, he always accomplishes. The story continues tomorrow.